Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio, and today I want to talk about nature versus nurture. Yes, nature versus nurture. You know, I get this question quite oftenly, Victor, especially from people who struggle in selling. They say something like, Victor, I'm just not meant to be a salesperson. I'm just not good at selling. You know, everybody else can do it. I simply can't sell, Victor. It's not in me. It's not in me naturally. I'm just not a natural born salesperson. Oh, if I can just get a penny for every time I hear that, I think I'd make $1 million, at least close to it. Let's talk about this nature versus nurture because it's really about attitude. And too often I think people just psych themselves out when they say they're not in selling. So if you've seen some of my past motivational videos, you know there's a routine I call it. I'll call it a routine I do where I talk about that we've always been in sales, right? We're all in sales. In fact, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics came out with a study in 2012, and it basically said that, when it looked at the sales force, it said, 8 out of 9 people don't work in the sales force. 1 out of 9 is a salesperson. So 1 out of 9 people employed today is in sales, 1 out of 9. And so they dug into the numbers even further, and they said, well, what about the other 8 of 9 that are not in sales? Well, when they dug into that piece of data, what they found is those 8 of 9 spend 40% of their time influencing and persuading other people. Let me say that again. Those people who are not in sales, not the 1 of 9, but the 8 of 9 who are not in sales, spend 40% of their time influencing and persuading other people, i.e., in other words, they're in sales. See, we're all in sales. We're always influencing and persuading other people. For example, if you're a manager or a leader, you have to sell sometimes, here's the goal, right? That's your sales pitch. You got to sell your team on hitting that goal. You got to say, we can do this. Well, guess what you're doing? You're selling. Or let's say you're a manager, again, leader, and you come up with this great idea. You're like, team, we need to implement this new idea or this new innovation. Well, guess what you're doing? You're selling your team on why it's important to implement that idea or that innovation. Or maybe you just want to share a vision of where the company or the organization wants to be or where they need to be. Well, you're selling the vision. Keyword, selling. You're selling the vision. And then when you get excited about something and you want everybody else to be excited about you, you sell them on the energy. Look, if we do this, we can really hit this number. We can make this happen. We're going to feel good about ourselves. We're going to feel good about our company. You're trying to sell them through enthusiasm. So you're always selling. We are always in sales no matter what. There was a study about, I'm going to say a couple of years back, and I don't remember the study, so I apologize, but I'm not making this up. It basically said that 13% of the sales population, 13% of people are natural-born salespeople. 13%, 1-3. What does that mean? Well, you can do the math. That means 87% of us are not natural-born salespeople. Now, this may shock you. Get ready. This may shock you. But I was an introvert in high school and maybe halfway through college, maybe all the way through college. I was never an extrovert. I never saw myself as a salesperson. I never thought I'd wind up in sales. I'm not joking. I never thought about sales. I just happened to get into sales. I started out in engineering. For those of you who don't know my background, I have an electrical engineering degree and an MBA. And I started out in engineering, and I soon found out after I got into engineering, maybe 3 years into it, that I simply didn't like engineering. By the way, if you have not seen my movie, yes, I have a movie. It's a documentary called The Motivator. Yeah, The Motivator. Subtitle, The Business of Selling Hope. You can find this documentary free on YouTube. And if you really want to hear the full story of how I got into sales, watch The Motivator on YouTube. And yes, it is for free. And so I never saw myself as a salesperson, but when I realized that selling isn't about, we have in our head, that Arthur Miller, Death of a Salesman, like salespeople have it hard, they're always on the road, or, the Glengarry Glen Ross movie, ABC, always be closing, close people no matter what, screw them, it's about getting the deal, making money. If that's your mindset, or that's your image of selling, it's the wrong image. See, I believe, and I've said this before, sales is a noble profession. We help people build their businesses. We help people make more money. By selling them our products or our services, we help them. So what makes a good salesperson? How can you, if you're listening to this and you're saying, Victor, I'm just not good at selling. Please help me. Okay, I'm about to help you. Here's all you have to do. This is the magic formula for selling. Yes, I came up with it myself. Here it is. The first thing you need to do to be good at selling, in fact, let me tell you a story first. Hold on. I'm going to tell you a story first. I want you to imagine for a moment, you listening to me right now, who you don't believe you're a great salesperson, I want you to visualize the following story. You go to a restaurant with a friend. And you go to a restaurant, it's a very nice restaurant. You walk in and you're greeted by the hostess, the maitre d', whatever it may be. And they're very polite. They walk you over to your table. They give you a nice little area where you can sit and have polite conversation. The music's not too loud. It's just perfect. And then they bring out the menus. They ask you what you want to drink. They even suggest some exotic drinks. You say, yes, let's try that. They go off. They come back. They bring the drinks. All these drinks are fantastic. Waiter asks you, are you ready to order? You say, yes, I am. And you try, I think I want A. And he says, no, you don't want A. Let me suggest B. Oh, it's much better. You won't regret it. Trust me. So you decide to go with the waiter's, suggestion. Your friend does the same thing also. Anyway, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, whatever the case may be, the meal comes back and it's perfect. I mean, oh my God, it's one of the best meals you ever had. So in other words, you're just enjoying that they bring out the dessert card. You have a great dessert. You can't believe how good that cheesecake is. I mean, it's the best cheesecake. By the way, side note, I love cheesecake. So it's the best cheesecake you've ever had. They bring out some, a latte, a cappuccino with a cheesecake. There is no better combination. And then all of a sudden it's enjoy, and then you're done, you pay, you're so happy, you even tip the person a little more. You walk out of there, you and your friend are like, just excited because this is the best restaurant you've ever been to. And then what happens the very next day? The very next day, you get on your phone. Or, you call your friend up and you tell some other friend, you call a new friend and you say, hey, me and X went to this restaurant and oh my God, it was the best restaurant I've ever been to. You walk in, the ambiance is perfect, the music is perfect, the people are polite, the waiters and waitresses are great, the food is excellent, they have these great exotic drinks, and you go on and on of how great this experience was. Well, guess what you're doing? You're selling. See, you think you're sharing information with your friend who hasn't gone there yet, but you're really selling them on the idea. Now, where's that sales coming from? Where's that sales ability coming from? Your enthusiasm because you believe that this is a great restaurant. So what's the formula for selling? Look, 3 things. If one, you know your product or service, that's where it begins. You have to know what you're selling. You have to know what you're selling. Then you have to know its value. How does your product or service help a customer? How does it help them? Now, if you know your product and you know how it helps the customer, you know its value, then the only thing required is your desire to help other people. Because if you know your product and you know it has value and you have a desire to really help other people or other companies, you will be motivated to sell. Notice that in this equation, there is no money. I didn't talk about money. I didn't say, hey, you're motivated by money. No, because when you know your product, when you know its value, when you really understand its value, and you have a desire to help other people or companies, you will be motivated to sell. And when you're motivated to sell, you will make money if you have a great compensation plan. So again, do you have to be a natural-born salesperson to sell? No. It helps, but you don't need it. What you need to do is know your product, know its value, and have a desire to help other people. Do this, and you will be good at selling, whether you're naturally born or not. You can become great at selling. Well, anyway, that's it for this Sales Influence podcast. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my sales training website with great programs, seminarsonselling.com, where you'll find great training videos for you, your team, to help you grow your business and get better at selling. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.